Welcome to the show. My name is Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. We are so excited to have you join in with us as we support and encourage women in 5 areas. That's the mind, body, and soul, while laughing and loving.
And on the 5-Star Living podcast, we normally only focus on one topic at a time. But today, we have a very special guest with us for our 5-Star Spotlight.
Yes, joining us today is Cynthia Judge, a.k.a. the lovely Ms Cjay. Cjay is not only a dear friend of mine, but she's also a major advocate in lymphedema. Welcome to the 5-Star Living Show, Cjay.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much, ladies. It's an honor to be on your podcast today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. So I just gave a little bit about your title, but who is Ms Cjay?
Ms Cjay is the diva.
Yes, she is.
Okay. And there was a time where I thought that being called a diva was a negative connotation. But I had an entertainer friend of mine, a sister, a singer, who told me that all women are divas. And divas get a bad rap because they think that you need special treatment. Well, you do need special treatment, but that treatment is given by yourself. It's just an aura. And so that's it. Ms Cjay is the diva. She's a 6-foot diva whose whole life is focused on sending out love to the universe.
Oh, tell us more about that. Tell us about your platform.
Well, I'm a cancer survivor. I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor, and 4 years ago, I was treated for uterine cancer, so that makes me a 3-time cancer survivor. For the past 40 years, I have dealt and lived with a condition called lymphedema, which is a side, I would just say, something in addition to the breast cancer. It's breast cancer related, so it's called secondary lymphedema, and I've dealt with it for 40 years. It's because of the lymphedema that I became an advocate, because it almost killed me. I tried to.
Oh,
and
you're here with us.
Right, and I made it a point that once I was able to get treatment, that I was going to help the world to understand about this condition.
Oh, that is so awesome. So in a few moments, we are going to talk about that journey a little bit more, about how you got to be an advocate. But first, do you mind if we handle some 5-star business?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so you've heard the podcast on the 5starlivingshow.com, and you've seen the video on YouTube, and now you, Cjay, are a part of the 5-Star Living Inner Circle on Facebook. Thank you so much for supporting us. And now you're contributing to the show.
Oh,
so my first question for you, Cjay, is when you hear the words 5-star living, what does that mean to you in your world?
In my world, it's about growth, and personal growth. And you never stop growing, no matter how old you get. As I shared with you ladies earlier, I'm 70, and I'm still learning. And so for me, growth is something where you're growing every day, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. And there's one more in there, and I'm just having like a brain freeze on it. But financially, hello, the money part.
Hello,
the money part.
Right.
Because you need to grow every single solitary thing. And over the course of my life, I've had a lot of money and not had a lot of money. And what I learned about money, and I hope this will be helpful to someone, is in order to keep it, you got to be prepared to keep it. Because if you're not prepared to keep money, money will always fly through your hands. It's the source of commerce. It's not who you are, but we do need it as an exchange for the things we want out of life. And when I get to a point sometimes where I don't have the money and I start looking back, and you're really supposed to not look that hard at the past, is that I wasn't prepared for it. And the same thing has to do with success. If you're not prepared for success, you will sabotage success every time it knocks on your door. And that has to do with deservability.
Okay. That is a wonderful piece of nugget to share.
Everything in life is about deservability. If we don't feel deep down inside that we deserve it, we will sabotage everything in our life. And we deserve every bit of happiness that comes our way. And anyone who tells you any different, you need to get them out of your life, because you don't need that in your life.
Or get him
Honey,
a check and give him some of your 5-star living tips.
There you go.
period.
Period. No, I don't know, especially as women, we're givers, we're nurturers, and we just want to hold on to things that we really just need to let go.
Yes.
Okay? And that means him, her, or whoever. And the family are not family, because we have our blood family and we also have our tribe. And those are two different groups of folks.
Right.
So very true. So very true. So you mentioned so many different aspects in your life. How do you balance it all?
Sometimes it's not easy. It's hard work. And I always say the hardest work I do is the work I do on myself. And, but you have to find that balance, because if you don't, you become like depressed, anxious, overwhelmed. So it's good to do the things that you have to do, but set time for the things that you want to do, the things that you love. And I'll ask you, or ask my kids, if you could do anything you want in the world and make money doing it, what would you be doing? Right. Pick something like that. It's like, for me, advocacy, I feel naked, I feel lost, I feel empty if I'm not talking about lymphedema every day to someone. Okay. I feel empty. I mean, it's like with my podcast, we've been on hiatus for a little while now, and people still think we're doing our podcast because I keep our social media alive, but there's an emptiness in me because I'm still not doing it. I'm not doing the things that I'm going to my conferences and things like that, because I'm not quite as balanced now as I want to be. So it's a daily work for me as well right now. It's finding that balance where I'm not just getting up and dropping off the dog and going to work and punching in and coming back home and not doing the things that are important to me.
And it sounds like you talked about being empty. So what you're doing with your podcast and your advocacy is a passion of yours.
Oh, yes, it absolutely. And that's the correct word there, because passion is the one. I hear this all the time. You're the advocate's advocate, and we so appreciate your passion. And it's because most of my life I didn't feel like I had a voice. Okay? And that's important when we feel like we have a voice, right?
Yes.
But when I became an advocate and speaking on behalf of other people, I found my voice. And I tell you, that is the most liberating feeling in the world. Is to find your own voice.
Wow. So for a woman that may be listening right now who's struggling to either live balance or find that passion, what kind of advice can you give her? It's okay to be selfish. Okay? People say, oh, she's just, you're not the center of the universe. Excuse you, I'm the center of my universe. Okay? My universe. Maybe not the center of your universe, but I'm the center of my universe. Yes. And in my universe, I have to take care of me first before I can take care of anyone else. It's not selfish of me to decide that today I'm going to chill out, take my phone off the hook, lock my doors, get my music on, get lifted or whatever, and go there and take care of me. And in order for me to help you, I have to have already taken care of me first.
Yes, say that.
So, right. You are the center of your universe, and it's not selfish to take care of you. You can't take care of anyone else. Self-care is very important. Very important.
Most important. Like
yes, it is.
You can't take care of anyone else until you take care of yourself.
Nope. And it's okay to say no, all right? You don't have to feel guilty about saying no. And there's no, maybe behind that. No, I don't feel like doing it. My mom used to say, my mother had 11 children, and I'm the oldest of the 11. And my mother was a funny lady. She was really my dear. But my mama carried a pistol till she was 85 and had to make it away from her.
She was gangster.
Right, I'm not kidding. But my mother, my mother's way of asking you to do something was, do you feel like doing such and such for me?
Right.
And if I say, no, I don't, okay.
As if you have a choice,
right? What comes next?
Right, exactly. So say what you mean and mean what you say. Come at me the right way. Don't. I think that's what the kids call the Jedi mind trick. Don't use that on me.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So.
Hey, so CJ, if there was anyone in your life that you would give credit for your strength and your perseverance, who would that be?
You know what? My mother, my mom. I mean, we didn't have the best of relationships, but one of the things I can say about her, she did the best that she could with the knowledge that she had at the time. But she always never talked to her daughters like we were children.
Okay.
She always talked to us like we were grown women. And some of the stuff I learned from my mom, I won't repeat here. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll remember that, Mom. But my mother, I get my work ethic from my mother. We went to nursing school and graduated from nursing school together. Okay. She worked that's all I could ever remember is that when I was a little girl, she worked at Star Kiss Tuna Cannery in San Pedro. I was born in Long Beach, LBC. Yeah.
Right, represent.
West Side. And so I watched my mom go from working there to being a nurse's aide to going to nursing school with me and getting licensed and retiring from 2 nursing facilities. We both worked at Kaiser.
Wow, okay.
She worked at Hollywood and I worked in West Los Angeles, first Inglewood and then West Los Angeles, right? And then she went on. So I watched my mom. And so and I had someone when I was working at Inglewood Park Cemetery as a prenatal counselor. My manager then was Mr. Charles Crawford. And he always taught us that everyday lives are being changed and you never know how instrumental you are in changing someone's life. And so that's where all my things come from, the people who have touched my lives, the people who have made me, encouraged me to be, bigger than who I thought I could possibly be, like Christine asking me to, join as her co-host. She'd never met me. And we did something so wonderful. Or Robin Miller, God rest her soul, who encouraged me to become an LSAP with the, the National Lymphedema Network. I did that. Or I sat on boards. I've done this. I've been to Capitol Hill. The most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, to meet Harry Reid in the Lincoln Room and talk to senators and do all these things that I've done. And Felina, like I was sharing with you yesterday, achievers go from one achievement to the next. Yes. We don't think about it. Yeah. Right? We just do it. We're doing this. Everything in my life is based upon the feeling that I wasn't good enough or I wasn't smart enough. And I was always putting myself down because I never graduated or went to college. I graduated from the University of Life. Thank you. Okay. And so, they teach you theory in college, but they really don't teach you how it really works in life. Okay. And so getting back to who has inspired me, it would be my mom and all the other people in my life who've encouraged me and touched my life to help me to be a better person. I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful.
And speaking of your life and your journey, CJ, tell us a little bit about that, your journey on how did you get to become an advocate for lymphedema?
Okay, so I had breast cancer the first time when I was 30 years old. And I was married and with 3 children. My baby was only 2. And I worked at Kaiser and the doctors, I found this lump. And that's the first breast cancer. And then 6 months later, after the mastectomy, I developed swelling in my arm. And they told me what it was, but they didn't tell me how to take care of it. So my lymphedema went untreated for 20 years. My arm was huge and it made me very ill. I got cellulitis, which is a complication that most lymphedema patients have to really be wary of. And I had no insurance, and someone that I was doing business with at the time suggested that I go to the Lymphatic Center of Las Vegas. And I went there, and they treated me for my lymphedema. They brought me down. It was very emotional because I saw a change like day 1 after they started treating me. And from that point forward, I decided I was going to become an advocate and help people to understand that between 3 and 5 million Americans deal with lymphedema. And children are born with it. You can get it as a byproduct of having had cancer or any injury to your lymphatic system. And so my goal was to educate as many people as possible, especially doctors, about lymphedema.
Especially doctors.
Yes, not much of that. They don't spend a lot of time. That's changing now over the course of time as with anything with medicine, doctors are now learning more about it, but they don't know as much as they should. Now, we do have some lymphologists, that's their specialty. I have, doctors who are very deeply involved in the research of lymphedema. I have my mentor, Dr. Nancy Hutchison out of the Kinney Institute there in Minneapolis, and Dr. Jake Brasnow out there in California who does, lymph node dissection and transfer and things like that. And my friend Dr. Shim in South Korea. So it's a universal thing where this is why we have conferences where researchers and doctors come together and just see, because there's no cure for lymphedema. Once you have it, you have it.
Okay.
And so you have to deal with managing the swelling so that you don't get sick.
Wow.
Got it.
So what
I probably said a mouthful, but you asked.
Well, that's perfect because it needs to be known and heard.
Right.
So
you can get it. You can be in a car accident and something happens, and the next day you have a swollen limb.
Exactly. Somebody out there may be watching and don't even know.
Well, also the fact that, regarding African American women and breast cancer surgery, I mean, certainly now they're doing sentinel node dissections, and there's a little likelihood that you will get lymphedema, but there's still a chance that you will, is that African American women on the scale is a lot higher as far as developing lymphedema.
Wow, good to know.
After breast cancer.
Thank you.
It's good to know when you go in that you ask your doctor to do pre-measurements before you have your mastectomy and measurements after, and just be a little educated. It doesn't say it have to happen because it doesn't happen overnight. It could happen 10 years later.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that information.
What have been some obstacles that you've had to overcome in your journey to advocacy? Like what type of things? You mentioned that doctors didn't know, and you're educating others. Have there been any obstacles in as far as getting to where you're at now?
Well, actually, no, because I've been in sales all my life, so when I walk in the door, who's not going to talk to me? You got 6 people walking in the door. First of all, I use that as an advertisement. Walk in the door, you're going to talk to me.
Yeah.
I do have the gift of gab, so that works on my behalf. But I think that the biggest obstacle for any lymphedema patient would be the affordability of our garments. As you know, I wear these garments. They're expensive. You need to change them every 6 months.
Okay.
And I'm also an advocate for the Lymphedema Treatment Act, if I may, because it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
The Lymphedema Treatment Act, I started working with in the 111th Congress, and we see where we are now. So there's a lot. I mean, the Lymphedema Advocacy Group, it's called LAG, with Heather Ferguson, is that we've been working on this bill forever. Last year, it came very close, and we had a super majority in the House, and we had almost a good majority in the Senate, and still nothing happened. So they're still working on it. Advocates don't get paid. They pay their own stuff to go to Washington and advocate the bill. Right now in the state of Nevada, we have 2 congressional members who have not co-sponsored our bill. I'm calling them out right now. Dina Titus, you signed before, you need to sign again. Okay. And Stephen Horsford, you've never signed, and I've asked you to sign, and you need to please co-sponsor our bill. The bill in the House is H.R. 1948, and in the Senate it's S518. And we need to get this bill passed. It's a Medicare bill, and we already know, if you know anything about insurance, that once Medicare changes something, then all the other insurances follow suit. It's just a little paragraph. We just need to change it. The more we wear our garments and take care of ourselves, the least likely we're going to end up in the emergency room, which is more, expensive. So it's a common sense bill, and we just need help to get it passed.
Sounds that way.
Right.
Sounds that way. What keeps you going, CJ?
You're so feisty, by the way.
What keeps you going?
It's so feisty and gorgeous.
I don't know. Every day I get up, I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm so happy to be alive. I was mentioning to Felina yesterday, I just don't know how to give up. I mean, I just don't know how to quit. Of course, when you get to this age, you think about how much longer I'm going to be here, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But for me, taking each day, one step at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time. Not holding on to anything that doesn't, serve me. I just told my daughter, she just turned 48. You're marching into 50. You just, let go of stuff that doesn't mean anything. If your mama wasn't a good mama, I'm sorry. I love you, forgive me, and let it go. So you can stay here a little longer, holding on to things, taking them back, old boyfriends. Listen, you cannot reheat popcorn once it gets cold.
Wait a minute.
So, that don't, and, just all the things that we women do.
Right.
It took me a long time to get where I am right now, where I am fine. Yes, it would be nice to date.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like being in here by myself with my little dog. Thank you, Felina, for the dog. I'm just saying, you as women, you don't need a man to define you. You can define yourself, right? And being by yourself is scary to some people because they feel that if they don't have the clutter of the noise, if they don't have the clutter of music and people all around them, and being afraid to put yourself in silence where you're just dealing with you, when all of you really look deep inside, you find a little kid who just needs to be hugged. Embrace your inner child, hug your inner child, go have fun. That's how I ended up forgiving my mama for my childhood. I looked at my inner child, I looked at her inner child, and I envisioned us playing together.
Wow.
Okay, I envisioned her as a little girl because who hurt her? You understand? You understand what I'm saying? And then going that way, forgiving people, let it go. Please let it go. It serves you no purpose to hold on to stuff. Let it go. It's like walking through a field of cow poop and picking up some and carrying it with you. Why are you carrying that poop with you?
Go put it down.
Put it down. You know what I do say, bag lady? Drop off your bags as you walk out the door. Get them down to just a teeny little baggie like that.
Yeah.
Just every day, just let go of something that doesn't serve your purpose.
Woo. Your words of wisdom are amazing. I am loving it. So many nuggets. I know I'm gonna. Let's
wait a minute.
Let's simplify this. Yeah.
You done lit this place on fire.
There's a young person listening right now, right? Young or old, young, whatever age range they're listening.
Right.
And they are lacking the courage to move forward in their dream, in their passion.
Right.
What words of wisdom could you give them?
Yes.
You're beautiful, and you deserve everything good in life. Everything good in life, and don't let anyone tell you any different than that. And you are loved, and love you for who you are. Okay, and it seems hard, but life is kind of like that, right? We have all these extenuating circumstances to try to keep us from being the best that we can be. We have the media, we have this, we have songs, we have all these things that tell us that we're not beautiful, we're not this, but when you're as beautiful as it's a creation of God or the universe or however you choose to see it, and you deserve everything good in this world, and don't let anyone ever tell you that, and you are loved and you are beautiful. Just take it one moment at a time. Do what you can while you can.
Yeah.
Okay. And be the very best that you can be, no matter what it is you do.
Wow.
Indeed. Ooh, that touched me.
Almost out of time. Felina, what about you? Do you have any last questions?
Yes, definitely. What else would you like to share with our audience? Like, what can you impart, or how can our audience get more information about your platform, Lymphedema?
Okay, so the Lymphedema Mavens, right now, like I said, we're still on this extended hiatus because I'm looking for a new platform for us, but I really
only for a shorter time.
I'm going to follow you.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, okay, good, because I know I put it out there, so I believe it. The Lymphedema Mavens are LD Mavens on Facebook. We're the LD Mavens on Twitter, as well as LD Mavens on Instagram. And if you want to hear some of our archive shows, you can find the Lymphedema Mavens on SoundCloud.
Nice.
Awesome.
And before we go, we have this little thing we like to do, fun facts.
Okay.
We want to know a fun fact about you. Back massage or foot massage?
Give it to me again.
Would you prefer a back massage or a foot massage?
You know what? Go ahead and give me the back massage.
Right.
Like
And then high heels or flats?
I can't wear them as high as I used to because of a knee injury, but I wear heels because I'm 6 foot and have flats. They're not going to make me any shorter, so whatever.
Okay, then I'll go to something else. How about walk on the beach or walk in the park?
Oh, definitely the beach. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I'm Scorpio. I'm
West
water.
Coast girl.
Definitely water.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. We have so enjoyed you. It was so fast. So sorry we ran out of time so quickly there, but I'm sure we'll have you back a little later in the year maybe. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This has been an honor and pleasure. I'm so proud of you ladies, and help us sister out with a podcast.
Thank you again.
Thank you. You guys have a blessed day, and remember, you are the best.
And you're even better. Thank you so much, CJ. We truly appreciate you. And we want to thank you for listening to us and joining us for the 5-Star Living Show. We believe in you, and we will believe that you will have a 5-star day starting when? Right now.
We know that you could have chosen to be anywhere else, but you chose to be right here with us. And so for that, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook at the 5-Star Living Show and joining the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle Accountability Group, because we want you to laugh more and love more.
Yes. So do me a favor, on purpose, make it a 5-star day.
The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by MVPphotographer.com, and special thanks goes out to our super producer, Mr. Dana Scott. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the 5-Star Living Show. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. And remember, love more and laugh more.